Okay, for this video, 306, determine the cause of engine overheating. One of the biggest unseen problems with ATVs and dirt bikes and off-road vehicles. People fail to recognize this right here. Your radiator is right up front. And if you're running in a hare scramble or any kind of trail ride and you're running through a lot of mud and you're following somebody, this always cakes up with mud. This is the #1 cause of engine overheating, head gasket failures, etc. You're looking at it right there, the radiator. So on an inspection, we want to come up to this and maybe remove this plastic if we have a shield. And we want to get down in here and we want to look at these cooling fins and we want to make sure that it's not caked up with mud, or maybe you were the unfortunate victim and had a stick come up and go through the radiator. That's your #1 cause of overheating. Other things we can do is we can come along and we can put 12 volts to our cooling fan if we have one. Make sure that that's operating. Oftentimes the electric motor can fail, or there's a sensor usually mounted on the radiator. If the radiator gets too hot, it'll turn the fan on. But in this case, I do not see a sensor on the radiator. So our over temp sensor, located right here, we want to check to make sure that this is kicking on when the engine gets hot enough and telling the fan to go ahead and run. This one here will send a signal up to the ECU, and the ECU will in turn send power back down to this connector and run our fan. So we want to look for things like a plugged up radiator, a fan that's not working, or maybe there's no coolant in it. Our water pump may have failed. These are the most common failures that with a liquid cooled engine. All right, unless by some possibility the impeller came loose down there on our water pump. Liquid cooled systems, pretty basic, but they require a little bit. You got to keep after them, make sure that our radiator's open, make sure that our fan's working. Now an air-cooled engine, on the other hand, overheating from them is typically caused by, again, mud buildup in the cooling fins. All right, you look at any gasoline engine that is air-cooled. This one is liquid-cooled, but it also has cooling fins as well. But those cooling fins can become plugged up. They can be, for mishandling, you can break the fins off. And as you break the cooling fins off, you lose the cylinder's ability to dissipate heat, and it creates hot spots. Another typical thing with air-cooled engines is you'll get a lot of debris caught up in the cooling fins from normal operation. This V-twin engine that I have right here, you can look in closely and you can see some of the debris starting to build up down in there. All of that dirt in there causes hot spots. The engine overheats, then things start to warp and crack, and then you have failures. So it's not just the motorcycles, it's the small engines as well that are powering our riding mowers and our lawn mowers and everything else. They require routine maintenance that you have to get in here, and you got to clean those cooling fins out.